Hi everyone, this is Ravi. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. So this is our lesson 7 on test project automation tool. So till now I have published 6 lessons where I have explained you about installation of the test project tool and also how can we perform basic automation of web UI applications, and then how can we perform automation of mobile applications. And also I explained you about parallel browser testing, cross platform testing, cross browser testing, all these concepts. I would suggest you guys to visit those 6 lessons before you proceed with this particular lesson. So in this lesson 7, I'm gonna concentrate on how do we manage and work with element locators by using test project automation tool. Okay, it's very important. It's not simple like we record the test and then play the test. No, it's not the way. So we need to basically manage all the elements throughout the project, right? So if any element property is changed, you need not to change the element property in each and every test case, right? There should be some central repository. So those are all the things I'm going to explain in this particular video. Okay, and there are other options where we can basically monitor the element properties, where you can basically evaluate the element properties, right? So these are all the different options we have in test project automation tool, which helps us in automating the test cases very effectively. Okay, please do subscribe to the channel, click on bell icon. You'll receive notifications whenever I publish more videos on these concepts. Thank you. So here is our agenda item, right? So our first agenda item is I'm going to teach you how can we add element locators manually by using test project automation tool. And also how can you freeze the element while recording or while exploring the while automating the test cases. So how can you freeze the element and explore existing attributes on the current page. And also I can show you how can you use the explorer option to see the entire DOM, basically the entire locators available on the page and the structure of these locators. Okay, and also I'm going to teach you how to use the locator option which is available in test project to evaluate the elements by changing the property values. Okay, and also I'm going to show you how can you save the elements from the locator after evaluation. Basically you can save the element and then you can create a step from the saved element. Okay, so these are all very important for you guys, so it makes very easy for any automation engineers to basically automate the applications, because so there will be a lot of elements which you cannot locate by using some unique identifiers, right? So to identify the unique identifiers you need all these options, so that it's very easy for you to identify the unique locator that can be identified the required element, right? So please let's jump onto our system and see how can we perform all these operations and how can we use all these options, and then where can we use all these options while automating your test cases. Okay, okay, so I'm in testproject.io. I just logged in and my agent, let's see my agent is running or not. Okay, my agent, test project agent is running. So as I explained you in my earlier web UI automation session, right, probably lesson 3 or 4, I would basically suggest you guys to go through that lesson. Okay, so before you watch this session, so this is the test, same test about which I am taking. Okay, let me open this test that we have recorded and have added some validations here, right? Okay, so now let me explain what is our first agenda item, how to add steps manually. Okay, and then how can you add the elements manually. Okay, so if you see here, let me start recording. See, I already recorded. So when I start the recording for the existing test step wizard, it's going to open the website. Okay, let's start the recording. So what happens? It's going to open the HRM portal. Okay, that we have automated. So it's open your HRM portal here. If you see, right, it's open. It's actually opening the HRM portal, and then it's gonna keep the HRM portal ready for us. Okay. Right. So now, if I want to add steps manually, what should I do? Okay, let's add one step manually. Okay, click on add. Right here, what action do you want me to perform? Okay, you can select that. Let's assume I want to add, I want to click on forgot your password. Okay, so that's what we are going to do now. Okay, either you can add your test step or action by searching the action name. Okay, to click you just searched click. So if you see here, click. Okay, or you can basically perform action directly by element. So if you expand this element, whatever the elements that are stored in our steps, previous steps, right, it shows everything here. If you see here, I can see every element here. I can directly select one of the element. Let's assume I want to select login button. Okay, just select one of the element and then select the action that you want to perform. Click. So that means if you see here, what I'm doing, I'm actually clicking on the login button. You can just save this step. If you see here, there is a new step that has been added. If I run this here, I can run step from here itself. Okay, if I run this and see what happens, it should click on your login button. Okay, I think there is an issue. Okay, that means what happened, let's see. So it says, yeah, so it's failed. Why? Open this again, and if you see here, let's search for the login element. So if you see here, the CSS selector, that means the property whatever we have taken, it is not correct property, right? But anyway, so how to correct it, I'll tell you later. Okay, let me do one more thing. So let me add another manual step here. Okay, let me add another manual step here. Okay, so as I told you, if you want to perform a new operation, what should you do? Okay, here you just hover on this and then click on double shift and then select action. I want to click on this link, right? Select this click on link. What happens, it automatically pulls your new step here. Okay, it already pulled your click on element. What is the element that you want to click, right? It pulled everything here. I want to make sure that this XPath, whatever it took automatically, whether it's gonna work or not. Okay, for that, find element, you click on find element, it's gonna show you correct. So that means it has a match, one match. If you see here, one match is there. Again click on this, so it shows one match and then this is glowing in green color. So that means this is correct. Now I want to save the step. I saved it. So if you see here, click forgot your password, new step has been added, right? So when I run this, it will work for sure. Okay, so this is one way of adding steps manually, right, without recording. Okay, I have clicked on this, done. So now let me delete. Okay, you can delete the steps also. Let me delete this and let me also delete this. Okay, whatever the new step that I have added, I deleted it. Okay, now what is our second agenda item is freeze the element. Okay, so if you see here, so let me just log in here. Okay, I'm just logging in manually. Okay, because I want to automate the steps after login, because I can see here I already logged in. I'm validating. Once I log in, whether the user has been logged in or not, right? Click on login. So as soon as you log in, oh, I think login is not working. Let me try in different browser. Okay, let's try in different browser and see if login works or not. Okay, if it's not working, then probably copy. Yeah, so it's working. Okay, so now, so I logged in here. Okay, so now let's assume, okay, let me try here as well. Okay, admin. Oh, sorry, I think I entered wrong password earlier. Okay, login. So now it's logged in. So now what I want to do, I want to basically perform some operations. Okay, I want to click on one of these menu items. Okay, so for that I want to use a freeze. So let's say I want to add this one. Okay, all you need to do is just hover on this element, click on double shift, right? And then you need to add action here. Okay, if you want to click, okay, you just select the click button, and then it automatically gets the step here. Okay, how to use and then explore existing attributes. Okay, so now if you see here, if I open this edit element, right, if you see the recruitment link, the tool has already taken all the existing locators. If you see here, this recruitment can be identified by using this locator XPath or this locator XPath or this XPath, right? So I can use any one of the locator here, right? And let's search on this. Okay, okay, it's actually highlighting that. Let me search on this XPath. It's actually highlighting. Let me search on this XPath. It's highlighting. That means all the XPaths whatever it has taken are correct. Okay, let me do one thing. Let me just make sure. Let me change the property of this. If I click on search, if you see, it's not actually locating. So that means I need not to. Let's assume I want. Okay, let's assume. Let me delete this one. Okay, let's search this. So it's not locating correctly. Then I can delete this XPath here. I can delete it. Now what I'm instructing TestProject, I'm instructing TestProject to identify this object, this element by using these two XPaths, right? So that way you can easily use your freeze element option and then explore existing properties. Okay, and also let me show one more thing here. Okay, let's go back here. I don't want to save that step. Okay, again go to recruitment, double shift, and if you see here, I have another option called attributes. That means when I click on this attributes of recruitment link, it is showing me all the attributes here, right? So if I hover on this XPath attribute, okay, and then click on open in element locator, right? Just click on this. What happens? It's gonna open the element locator in locator option. Okay, and if you see here, when I click on evaluate, right, let me click on evaluate. See, it is highlighting. It has one match. Okay, here is one match. Okay, I can save this element from locator option itself. Okay, let me just, okay, from location. Okay, that's later I'm going to tell you, okay, how to save and then how can do that. Okay, so this is the way basically by freezing your element you can explore all the existing options here. Okay, and you can also copy the XPath from the clipboard. Okay, even that you can do. Okay, right? And our another agenda item is how to use locator, one of locator options, right? If you see here, the locator, whatever from, see, we reached this element, and then we just clicked on this particular, open the element locator. As soon as you open the element locator, it has opened your locator option. So how can you use this? You can basically click on evaluate. So when I click on evaluate, it's highlighting, right? And it is showing me one match. Let's assume I remove this. Click on evaluate. So no match found, right? Again add. So there is one match. Let's assume I want to delete this numerical 5 and just evaluate. If you see here, when I'm evaluating this, it found almost 11 matches, right? Because I removed that number from here. So all the 11 matches I could see here, right? See everything, right? And now, so that means basically by using locator, you can easily evaluate them. Okay. So let's assume again I want to change it to let's say 2 and then evaluate. So now if you see, it is adding here, correct? So let's say I want to save this element now. Okay. What you can do, you can basically save the element. Once I'm actually not saving the step, I'm actually saving the element. Once I save the element, right, it's gonna ask you, do you want to save the element and create a step, right? So I can do that way, or you can just save the element. Okay, any one of the option you can take. Okay, let's save the element and create a step. Okay, I'm saving this element. So as soon as I save the element, it is asking what do you want to do. Let me select it as click. Okay, I want to click, right? And then now save step. So as soon as you save the step, see, the step has been added. Let's execute this, okay, and see whether it's going to click on this particular element or not. Okay, run step. See, he clicked on that, right? It's clicked on that, right? So that is another way of adding step. Basically, I'm adding step from the locator by adding a element. Okay, that is another way of doing that. Okay, and let me also explain one more thing. Okay, let me go back to my test project. Okay, now assume one of the element locator. Let's assume this one. Okay, let's say this XPath has been changed. Then do I need to, if I go back to my test project, if the XPath, if you see here, I have this test case and I have this test case, right? There are two test cases. If the element locator of your login button or some other element locator has been changed, do I need to change the locator property in each and every test case here? No. So there is another way of maintaining this. Okay. If you see here, my project structure is, I have how many applications here? I have one HRM application, free test project, HRM application. Basically two applications I have, right? So if you click on, there is an option called elements in test project. When you click on elements, you can see the same structure here. That means the structure of your applications. I have two applications. As I told you earlier, in my project, I have test cases. Okay, let me go back to here, project. I'm using two different applications, right? When I click on elements, there will be folder structure of same applications. So HRM app, if I click on HRM app, I'm using these many elements. If you see, just now, right now we have added one of the element, one of the step related to this one, right? So you can see that element is also added to this location, and there is a recruitment location, recruitment element that is added when we added manually, and forgot your password also there. So basically whatever the steps that we have added, all those elements came to this folder structure in the elements, right? Now in case property of your submit button is changed, you just come here, click on edit, and then change the property here. That's it. So as soon as you change the property, it automatically changes this particular property in all your test cases. You need not to change this property in each and every test case. You just come to elements and then change your property. It's a kind of central repository, okay, as same as your qtp or any other tools, okay. And if I want to add a new element to this particular application, you go to new element, and then if I want to add application, basically I want to add element from web application, right? You need to select this web application. As soon as you select this web application, provide the name, right? Name of the application, right? And then here, if you see, because I'm using the web application, I can see that all the locators related to web application are showing here, right? XPath, tag name. But in case if I want to add a locator from my Android mobile, you need to select this. As soon as you select this, if you see the locators, now I can see ID, class name, and all these things. But apart from that, I can also see accessibility ID, Android auto ID, right? So that means these are all coming from Android. Let's say if I click on this Apple, means Mac, iOS, right? So if you expand this, all the locators relate to iOS. If you see accessibility ID, iOS UI automation, iOS predicate, right? These are all the locators related to iOS, right? And then type of the objects. Let's go here, Android. So it takes, it's basically loading the type of the types, loading the types, okay. And if you expand this, so these are all, if you see, all are related to your Android, right? Type of the locators, right? Android. In the same way, when you click on web, then it's going to show you web related one, okay. So basically you will be adding the element manually by selecting the platform that you are working on, and then provide your the value and then click on save. So basically it's gonna save an element here, okay. That is another way of adding a new locators in your central repository directly, right? But if you are adding steps, if you are adding steps, right, then even though whenever you add element locator by using record option or by using add step option, corresponding elements will be stored under elements folders to the corresponding project, okay. Hope you understand the concept, right? So let's go back to our, again, to the same page here, okay. So now you understand how are we managing the central repository. So that means we covered adding element locators manually, freeze element and explore existing attributes. We also covered let me use locator option, okay. So now we also covered using locator option to evaluate the elements, right? And now use explore option, okay. Let me show you that, okay. So if you see here on the screen, you have another option called explore, okay. You click on explore option and see here, let's say these are all the entire structure of your web page. So if I hover on this, so the corresponding is panel is showing me. If you see here, this is your image, and if you hover on this, this is my panel. Let's say hover on this, this is another panel, and this is my table. So if you see here, let me freeze this, double tap. If you see here, this is my table, right? Table row, table cell. Let's say I want to see entire table, what happens, let's see, okay. Do I have any table here? This is my entire table. If I click on here, see, I'm able to basically locate this entire table, right? And if you want to retrieve this table, you can retrieve the table. Okay, let's do one thing. I want to count an elements present in this particular table. In this table, how many elements are present? Okay, so what I'll do, I'll click on this table, okay, and then add, okay, click on save element, right? Click on save element, and now what action do you want to perform? I clicked on save element and then save and create step. Okay, when I click on save and create step, now I want to create a steps to count elements. Okay, let me do one thing. So it's not happening. Okay, so let me go back again. Let me close this. Okay, let me do this for other one. Okay, let's do one thing. Okay, go to explorer again. Okay, now let's do one thing. Let's select this. Okay, let's select this. Okay, freeze this. Now this is one xid. Oh, sorry, let me freeze this. Sorry, so I freezed it. This is one. If you see xpath, I can see all these xpaths, right? So now let's assume I want to add this save element. So if you see here, this is one xpath. Let me copy this xpath. Okay, now, okay, let me copy this xpath, copy this, and then go back to test. Now I want to add a step manually. Okay, so now what do you want me to add? I want to add count web elements. Okay, count elements, sorry, count elements. Okay, so this is count elements. You just click on count elements, right? Now by type, xpath type, and then by string, what is my xpath value? Okay, so this is my xpath value. I want to remove this one. Okay, I want to remove this one, and then what is the outcome? So let's say I'm counting how many earlier. Let's go back here again and then put here. Let's go to locator and then see how many elements should be there. Okay, if you see here, evaluate, I have total 11 matches, right? So that means now I can go back here and then go back here. Okay, let me do one thing. Locators. So that means I have total 11 matches. So let's do one thing again, one more time. Okay, so now I want to save this element. Oh, sorry, go back to step. Okay, I want to add another step. Okay, and here count elements, count elements by xpath, and this is my string. I want to remove this one. Okay, and now I want to validate this. I want to validate this by adding a validation. It should be equal to 11, correct? The output of this should be equal to 11, right? Now save step. So as soon as I save step, it's added count element found by locator. Okay, just run this. Okay, when I run this, it should be passed because I have 11. It should match with the 11 count. Let's see. Okay, if you see here, it is passed. Go to details. It is passed. Go to details. I can see the count is 11. Let's say, let me modify this step. Let me make it as 10. Okay, and see what happens. Okay, run this again. See, it's failed. Why? Because actually it is matching with the count is 11, but we specified the output as 10. Actual result as 10. Sorry, expected result as 10. That's why it's failed. Okay, let me modify this again. Okay, 11. And now let's run this. So it passed, right? So this is the way you can use Explorer option as well, right? And if you want to restructure your thing, let's assume I want to pull this here. You can just drag and drop here. So you can basically restructure your elements and steps as well. Okay, and also if I want to run from here, let's say hover on these three dots and then you can just say run until here. That means it's going to run from till here, or I can run from here. If I run from here, it's going to validate all the locators and then it's going to click on this one. Okay, let's run from here. Run from here, it's validating and it's clicked on this PIM. Correct? Done. So these two tests are passed. Okay, so that way you can basically run from anywhere to anywhere. Okay, if you want to run from here, you can run from here. Okay, or if you want to run until here, you can run until here. Okay, so this is the way you can basically debug your scripts. Okay, hope you understand all the options like locators, explorer, and then how can you freeze the element by double shift tab, and then perform actions, validations. I already explained actions and validations, and this is the one we newly identified, attributes. You can just click on this attribute and then click on open in element locator. As soon as you open in element locator, it opens your locator and then it's going to evaluate. You have an option to evaluate in the element locator, so that you can see how many matches it found by using this XPath. If I want to change something here, I can change also. If I want to use CSS selector, I can use CSS selector, right? So these are all the different options we have in, really powerful options we have in TestProject automation tool. These are all very useful while automating very big applications where you have number of elements, right? And where you might not be able to identify the unique identifiers. So you can explore all the options, all different values and locators to make it as unique. Okay, hope you all understand these concepts. If you have any questions, leave your comments in the comment box. I'm going to reply to your queries. Okay, please do subscribe to the channel, click on bell icon. You'll receive notifications whenever I publish more videos on these concepts. Thank you.